Well, welcome again. Callista, welcome to Aloma Church in Winter Park, Florida. I know you're not a stranger to this area, and Speaker Newt Gingrich, welcome here. We all have been waiting for you, and obviously you can see you have an enthusiastic response. What we're going to do is we're going to have some questions for you from the people on the panel here. There will be some questions of their own. They also may read some questions that we've also received from the people here in the audience. And then at the end, we'll give you some time to be able to sum up, and we appreciate you here. First question is going to come from Patricia Sullivan.
Speaker Gingrich, you have voiced admiration for Theodore Roosevelt, FDR, and Woodrow Wilson. Given their progressive policies, conservatives would like to know why the admiration.
Well, I actually don't remember much about admiring Woodrow Wilson, although he was smart and taught political science. In the case of Theodore Roosevelt, he came to personify the emerging American nationalism. He was the advocate of the modern Navy. He was the advocate of reform. In New York City, for example, he led the cleanup of corruption. He led the troops up San Juan Hill and was in many ways the most famous military hero of his generation. He wrote, as a very young man, he wrote a standard work on the history of the Naval War of 1812, which to this day is a standard work. And then in passing, he wrote a leading book on birds in New York State. He was a conservationist. He was not an environmentalist. He would erase the EPA in a minute. But he loved the outdoors. There's a wing of the American Museum of Natural History, one of my very favorite places, which is named for him and has a statue of him. So that's Roosevelt. Franklin Delano Roosevelt, it's real simple. We get attacked on December 7th, 1941 by the Japanese. In 3 years and 8 months, we defeat Nazi Germany, fascist Italy, and Imperial Japan in what is probably the best fought war in terms of strategy and structure in history. And Roosevelt was part of that. And you know, by the way, the other person who really admired Franklin Delano Roosevelt was named Ronald Wilson Reagan. And Ronald Wilson Reagan, on Roosevelt's 100th anniversary, gave a speech on why he mattered. And so I would say to you, I am not such a partisan that I'm going to automatically say I don't want to even look at somebody who did something historic because they're a Democrat. And I am not such an ideologue that I'm able to look and say some of the things. I'll give you one other thing. Theodore Roosevelt supposedly was eating breakfast when he read a novel called The Jungle, in which a man falls into a vat in Chicago and is turned into sausage. And supposedly, Theodore Roosevelt was eating sausage at the time he read this section. And supposedly, that afternoon, he set up the Food and Drug Administration. Now, I just want to tell all of you, I'm a pretty solid conservative. But I like to travel anywhere in America and think the water can be drinkable. I like to be able to buy food at the grocery store or at a fast food place and think it's edible. And there are certain minimums. I understand libertarians have a theory that at least your descendants could sue if you die. I don't find that an adequate substitute for not dying.